Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video, and today I'll be doing a review of the JJRc X1, which you can see here is a pretty cool looking quad, a pretty sleek quad from JJRc, and it is their first model and one of the first toy grade and hobby grade hybrids, kind of, because it still has the toy grade sort of remote and feel and just flight characteristics to it. However, it does now implement brushless motors, which is pretty cool. Now, one thing just right away I want to go over that everybody knows who has this is that these stock landing gear are pretty crap. They bounce and it'll tip over, and since this model it spins motors upon arming, so that's just bad. So I've taken these off because they only take one screw, and I've done a mod that I saw by Frequent Flyer RC. He did this, and he took the transmitter sticks, covers like in packaging. The foam comes over the sticks sometimes, so you get 4 of them, and just hot glue them to the bottom of the motor mounts there. And then you have a nice, softer, a lot lower center of gravity landing, so you're never going to tip over, and it just makes it look a little better, I think. So definitely a good mod there if you have them. Another thing I want to point out is this GPS. Some people have been asking me. This is definitely fake. It's just a little plastic piece up here, nothing that's not real at all. So let's go over what it comes with. Obviously the landing gear, which I don't recommend you use if you have these, and you can use other things, but that's just what I had. It comes with a full set of prop guards, and these are actually, they're not too bad of prop guards. Like, they're thicker plastic, and they'd use 2 screws to go on, but I never use them just because it's a brushless quad. You're flying it outside. I don't see why you'd ever use prop guards. I mean, you can if you really want to, but I wouldn't, unless you're a total beginner to it. But here is what else it comes with. You also get a little European to US plug adapter in the box, not just separate from the site, which is cool. You get a little red screwdriver and a bag of screws to attach the things. You get a wall outlet plug here, which is a, let me see what it is, 800 milliamp hour output, ending in the European style plug, so you need that adapter if you're in the US. And it goes to the 2S balance plug, as you can see there. So pretty nice and standard. You have your radio here, which still it kind of looks like a mix between hobby grade and toy grade. The sticks aren't that bad. They're a little bit stiff for what I'd want, but no LCD screen. You know, just it's kind of still too toy grade. Lots of fake buttons on it. So let's move on. You have your battery here, which is a 2S 7.4 volt 1300 milliamp hour or 1.3 amp battery. So that's pretty nice. You get nice and standard battery. And what's also nice is the motors. Let me go over it. Let me see if I can find one where the prop won't be in the way. Alright, here's one. The prop's out of the way. They are 1806 2280 kV motors. So very standard, and if you do break one, you could probably swap it out, since they're 1806 standard size brushless motors, which are great. And also the propellers are 60, I don't know if you can be able to see it. It says it over here, 60-40 propellers, so they are 6 inches long with 4 inches of pitch, and they do use the standard 5mm hub, so you can easily swap. If you've seen my 5-inch bullnose prop test, I tried these out with DAL 5045 bullnose props, so you can use any pretty much standard mini quad prop, which is a great thing because they only give you 4 spares, and I'm actually not sure where my spares are. One second. Okay, here we are back again. I got my spare props. I actually had them on another model I was testing, just to try out 6-inch props on that, but there we go. It does come with 4 spare props. And they are pretty good props. They're not bullnose, but they do have good lift to them. Now let's move on for the battery. For the stock charger, it takes about, an hour and a half to 2 hours to charge. It depends on how far you discharge it. And also for flight times, it is pretty efficient with these 6-inch props, since it only runs on 2S. And it's really lightweight. You get about 13-minute flight times, which is really nice. And one thing bad about it is, you see, you get in here, the flight controller and all the ESCs are bundled together in one made board. So I'm pretty sure if you lose an ESC or the flight controller or something, you're going to have to either buy an entirely new quad or replace the whole board, but I haven't seen spare boards yet. And also another thing that is terrible on this, one thing that they really missed the ball on is the battery bay. You kind of have to smush, your battery goes in there, and then your JST, I put it in backwards, goes in that way. And then it slides in nice, but then you can hear the ESCs there. Your JST, you kind of have to smush everything in there. It's a little bit hard, but once you get it, it will clip a little bit. And then another thing you can see, let me just bind it quick. Okay, you can see the LEDs on this are just awful. They're just these little tiny dots in the arms. You can see you have 2 reds in the front and 2 whites in the back. And they're just these little dots. You can't see them like at all until you're directly below it. So it's a terrible night flyer for that reason. And I also saw Frequent Flyer RC do a couple mods to his LEDs on his. So, you know, just bad LEDs on that. Another thing is the weird arming procedure. Let me unplug it just so, you know, I don't accidentally start it up. So you have to arm it, once you bound it like I did, you have to put both sticks to the outside corners, then let go of your right stick, and then move your left stick right, left, right, like that, and that'll start the motors. And like I said, they do spin all the time on when it's armed, but you can use your throttle trim to go up a couple idle settings. I've heard there's 5 idle settings, so if you go up, you'll see it go up just slowly, but if you keep going down, and you go all the way to 0, it will disarm it. As well as if you let it sit on the ground with no input, just spinning by itself, after 10 seconds it will disarm itself. As well as, the third disarming procedure is putting both sticks back to the outside again. And for your buttons up here, this one doesn't do anything. I think it was supposed to be programmed for flips, but they never got there and it doesn't do anything. This one is your 3 different rates, so you have 3 rates on it. And then up here, I believe this one is for camera and photo if you have that attached, since it does indeed have a camera port up here, as well as 2 little clips for mounting it there. And it is a, just let me see how many pins the camera is. It is a 3-pin camera plug. And then up here on this top button, I believe up is headless and down is return to home, something like that. I don't mess with those because they're pointless features on something like this. They don't work. But other than that, it flies pretty well. It has lots of power. Lots of punch, not really overall speed. It is very fast, but not compared to my ZMR 250 that I built. I mean, it's completely a different flying experience, because since the propeller's so big and flying slow, especially if you fly in wind, you'll kind of notice it's like if you're flying a plane and you catch a gust, it'll like catch and like blow it. So it kind of like pitches up like that, and it's really weird. And also another thing that's pretty bad about it is the yaw. It's kind of a slow starter and stopper. Like if you're in a high rates yaw and you give full yaw, say you give it right now, it'll then start to go, and then if you let go, it'll keep going and then it'll stop. So it's really weird because it has enough power to stop it, but the flight controller is programmed to let it smooth out and go really slow starting and stopping, which I guess might help a beginner, but high rates, it just makes it really, and especially with that pitch up thing I was talking, hopefully you'll be able to see it in my review. It just makes high rates pretty hard to fly in unless you're really careful on the sticks. So medium rates is pretty much all you can do. But overall, it's a pretty good quad. Like I said, I bought mine from GearBest. I bought it for $120. I bought it actually the day it came out, and then it got here, and it's pretty good. I mean, for what it is, it's definitely not toy grade, and it's definitely not hobby grade. Like I said, a hybrid in between. And for what it is, I think what they've tried to do is pretty good. They missed the ball a couple times, like the battery bay, arming procedure, LEDs, and just flight controller, or the flight characteristics, because you can't just plug in a USB and change that. So it does kind of miss the ball a little bit. But one nice thing I just almost forgot to mention is you can see the motor nuts. This one is silver and this one is black. That's because they are self-tightening. So once you, the motors are threaded that way. So silver going back left and front right, and black going front left and back right. So once you tighten those down, it also comes with another thing I'm missing. I don't know where that went. It comes with a little tool, a little hex tool that allows you to tighten them down. You don't need to go super tight because they are self-tightening, but just get them just hand tight and then they'll be fine. But let's see what else about it. It seems pretty durable. I mean, it's all plastic, pretty lightweight. But if you are going to get this, and if you do support the FAA registration, I do not. I have not registered any of mine, and I do not plan on doing it. But if you're someone that's really concerned about that, this is over 250 grams, if you want to know that. But, you know, I've had a couple crashes, and it's not too bad. And I've one thing to recalibrate it, you put both sticks down and to the right. And I have to be careful about that because in flight, I like to do a lot of crazy, like low throttle dropping stuff where I actually put my throttle all the way down. And sometimes I'll do that by accident, and it'll try and recalibrate in flight, lock me out, and just go, right into the ground. So you have to be careful about that. Definitely, this is not for total beginners. I would recommend having at least 1 or 2 quads, like a mini or a micro quads before, and be very comfortable flying them before you get to this, because this could hurt somebody. It's got brushless motors, a lot more power, and you definitely don't want to just waste your money, so you have to be careful with that. But there we go, that was my review of the JJRc X1 Shuttle. Not too bad, but missed the ball a couple places, but overall it's still a good quad for the price range. So now let's go check out the flights. Okay, here we are for the outdoor flight, or the only flight actually, of the JJRc X1. As you can see, I don't have it bound up here, so I'm just going to show you. You have to plug in the battery there. You'll hear the ESCs do their little noise. You kind of have to stuff it in, set it down, and then turn on your transmitter, and then it'll beep up. And then what you have to do is put both sticks down to the outside corners, and then let the right stick go and move the left stick right, left, right. So I'll show you that. And as you can see, that'll arm the motors. Let's just start off here, and it is a little bit windy out today, but I'm going to try and hover up close first. See, very quiet quad. Definitely very smooth motors. Bearings are good, and very quiet prop, 60/40s. Spinning pretty slowly, since it's only on 2S, but very quiet quad. Looks really cool, and I'm using that landing gear mod by Frequent Flyer RC, with just those transmitter sticks, the foam for landing gear, glued to these pods instead of the stock legs, because they're pretty bad. So here is low rates yaw. You can see pretty low yaw, and then here is low rates pitch here, so pretty low pitches as well, but a somewhat beginner could probably fly it, but I'm definitely saying this is not for beginners. But I'm saying if you want to learn to fly this specific quad, just get used to it first. Beginner might be okay. Now it does have a weird yaw thing, like it's kind of getting battered around by the wind there, but like it'll take a while to get going on yaw and take a while to get stopped. I really don't like that. That's probably one of the biggest faults on it. So here is medium rates yaw. You can see a little bit faster, not too much. And then here is medium rates pitch. You can see quite a bit more. And because the high rates yaw just kind of spins out, here's high rates yaw. It's not really fast, it's just, like I said, it takes a while to get going and a while to stop, which really messes up your flight. And then here is a high rates funnel. Try and get it closer here. Wind's pushing it away, but looks pretty cool. You can see high rates pitch is very, that's a full speed pass. High rates pitch is very deep, I meant to say. It's full rates with the wind. That's against the wind, and there's with it. And it kind of does this weird pitch up thing, like if you were flying a plane, right? I don't know if you saw that there or heard it. Like the props catch the wind, like a wing, right there. Like it gets thrown up as if it caught a gust of wind. Even when there's not wind, it does it, like turning. It's really weird, which kind of makes it not the best. But for the $120 it comes in, it being brushless, it's still definitely a great price, I think, because this can lift pretty much any of the small HD cameras you throw at it. The Xiaomi Yi, I did a video on that, a couple maiden flight videos, as well as I did, coming up soon is a video with my RunCam 2 attached to it. That'll be coming up soon, but as you can see, it flies pretty well. There's no flips on it, no pre-programmed flips, but if you do have a Devo 7E modded, I saw another video by Frequent Flyer, he managed to have a switch to arm the props, so he could actually do a manual flip, but no stock flips. It just does that weird pitch up thing, which is definitely the worst part about it. but it still flies very nice. You just have to go a little easy on yaw. Just make a little bit of wider turns. Very light. Alright, I think that was maybe good enough. Do a throttle punch here. Not too much because my battery's getting a little bit lower. It's really cold out, but I also did a video with 5-inch props, 50/40 props. They made it a little bit more controllable because I think 6 inches may be a little bit too much for this quad. But in Frequent Flyer, I also did a video with 6-inch 60/45 props, but 3-bladed. So, and he said that made the yaw and pitch up issues better. So, if you want to look into that video of his. So let's come in for a landing here. I'll show you these landing feet in action. They work really well like this. You just come down and drop the throttle, and it bounces just a little bit because it even at 0 throttle it'll stay armed, but definitely a lot better than the stock ones. And now to disarm, you can either put both sticks back out to the right, let it sit for a couple seconds, or you can give 2 clicks down on throttle trim, and then I'll disarm it. And that's not throttle trim clicks like actual throttle trim. It's an actual disarm procedure mentioned in the manual. But there we go. That was my review of the JJRc X1. Pretty sweet quad. It does have a few problems, but for $120 out of brushless, I do recommend it. So that's my review. Please subscribe if you aren't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.